Today in this 2017 Chevrolet Malibu, we'll be having a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster EZ4 base plate kit with removable arms. Part number RM-523186-4. Here's what our base plate looks like installed. Now the reason that you're going to want a base plate for your Malibu is that this will serve as the connection point for your tow bars so you can safely tow your Malibu behind your motorhome. Now what's great about this base plate is that it does have removable arms. So as you see it right now, this is with the arms removed. This will maintain a nice clean look on your Malibu when you're not flat towing it. When you're ready to flat tow, you can simply take your arm, insert it with this tab at a horizontal angle, rotate it 90 degrees, and your arm will lock into place, and you can attach your crossbar here or your tow bar depending on the type of tow bar setup that you have. Removing the arm is very simple. You'll simply pull on the spring-loaded pin, rotate it 90 degrees, and pull it straight out. We have built-in safety cable attachment points on each side, as well as a attachment point for any wiring harnesses you may have. You can use a 6-pole round. In our case, we're using a 4-pole flat right now. Now this base plate is compatible with all tow bars from Roadmaster, and you're able to use quick disconnects with it. And now that we've gone over some features, we'll show you how to get it installed. To begin our install, we have our hood open. We'll have 8 T15 Torx screws just like this one to remove. Okay, on each side behind our headlight, we have this clip which is bolted in place, which helps secure our fascia on the top. There's a 10mm bolt that we need to remove. A ratcheting wrench is basically the only way you're going to get this out. Now keep in mind, everything we do on one side, we'll repeat on the other side. With the bolt removed, we'll now grab the plastic retaining clip, pull it back towards the windshield and out of the vehicle. Now on each one of our wheel wells, we'll have 3 7mm fasteners like this, which attach the fender liner to the fascia. Now we'll pull back on our fender liner to expose a 7mm bolt that secures our fender to our fascia. We'll remove this bolt. Now underneath, where our fascia meets our splash shields, we'll have 15 7mm fasteners like this one to remove. Okay, now with an extra set of hands, we can remove our fascia. We'll grab it where it meets our fender, pull back. We'll grab it up here above our headlight, and we'll lift up on it to release the locking strip. And we'll pull forward, and we'll find some electrical connectors that we need to unhook. We'll have our fog lights. There's a red lock tab on the bottom. You can slide it back and press it on the tab underneath and pull to disconnect. Here's the red lock tab, so it'll pull out like it is now, and you press it on this black tab. Now we can set our fascia aside where it won't get damaged. Now we need to remove our headlights. We'll do that by removing the 4 7mm fasteners on each headlight like this one that hold them in place. Now we can grab the headlight, pull it out of the vehicle, and we'll find our connector we need to undo. Slide the red lock tab back, press it on the black tab, and pull to separate. And we'll set this aside where it won't get damaged. Now we'll grab our filler neck for our washer fluid reservoir, pull straight up on it, we can remove it from the vehicle. Okay, now we place a drain bucket underneath our washer fluid reservoir since we need to drain it so we can remove it. We'll just grab our pump here, pull it out and up, and we can catch all the fluid in our bucket. Now that we have this draining, well, I can also remove our level sensor. You can just unplug it by sliding the lock tab back and pressing on the gray tab. We'll unplug our horns. Same method, lock tab, press it on tab, and unplug it. We'll pull our wiring harness off the reservoir, remove our line from the reservoir. Now we'll remove the 3 10mm nuts that hold our washer bottle in place. With the nuts removed, we can now grab the washer bottle, pull it forward and out of the vehicle, and we'll set it aside. All right, now obviously we only have the washer fluid reservoir on the driver's side. We also only have the air intake duct on the passenger side. So we need to remove this by removing the 10mm bolt here. Then we can pull it away from the air box and then off our radiator duct. There's a plastic fastener here. If you just pull up on it, you can release it. Now we can set this aside. On the driver's side of our vehicle, we have this connector that's clipped to our air dam. This is for our ambient air temperature sensor. We need to unclip this. You can use a flathead screwdriver or a trim panel tool. Just pop it loose. On our air dam, below that, we have a plastic push pin fastener. The way these work, the center section can pop out. Again, you can use a trim panel tool or a flathead screwdriver. Once the center section's up, you can pop out the entire fastener. We'll undo the 7mm bolt that holds it to the bumper beam. We'll fold it down so it's flat, and then right here, we're gonna cut it off. Just use a pair of 10 snips or side cutters, whatever you have that can cut through plastic like that. It's also our wire harness for the ambient air temperature sensors clipped to it. We can just pull it off. We can discard this. The passenger side's the same way, except we don't have the ambient air temperature sensor clipped to it. Now we need to remove the 13mm bolts on the outside of our bumper beam on the front of it. And we'll remove these forward 18mm bolts on this brace. Now on this extension of our subframe, there's 2 holes. There's a large one at the top and a small one at the bottom. We need to enlarge the bottom hole to a 1/2 inch in diameter. For that, you can use a drill bit. I'm going to use a step bit on it. Okay, we'll do this on both sides. Okay, now we'll take our large wall pipe spacers and stick them inside our bumper beam, just in front of our holes where the bolts were that we removed. Now we'll take our factory 18mm bolts that we removed. For every bolt that we install at this point, we'll put a little bit of Loctite on it. We'll take our rear receiver brace, place the bolt through it, place a flat washer onto the bolt, and we'll secure it to the side of the vehicle. We're only going to turn these bolts a few turns. Now we'll take our 8mm bolts that come with the base plate. We have a lock washer on them and a flat washer. We'll go through the front of the base plate, through the wall pipe spacers, and into the weld nuts in the frame of the vehicle. Again, we're only going to do these a few turns. Now we'll take the main section of the base plate and we'll set it on top of our subframe around the rear section. Now we have one of our shorter 1/2 inch bolts, got our Loctite on it and our lock washer. We'll go through the base plate into our receiver brace, and then we'll thread a nut onto the back side. Now we'll do the same for the front hole. Now we'll take our shorter wall pipe spacer, stick it inside our subframe, take our bolt with the Loctite on it, go through the bottom and the wall pipe spacer, place on a flat washer, lock washer, and then we'll thread on our nut. With all of our hardware now in place, we can begin the process of tightening it down. Now we can torque all of our hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. Now while our fascia is off, this is a good time to do any of the wiring that we need for our towed vehicle lighting system that'll go onto our vehicle, just because it makes it easier to route the wires. Now we can reinstall our intake tube. Now our washer bottle can go back into place. Fill our reservoir back up. Now we can reinstall our headlights. Now with the next set of hands, we can reinstall our fascia, making sure we plug all of our electrical connectors back in. And that'll complete our look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster EZ4 base plate kit with removable arms. Part number RM-523186-4 on this 2017 Chevrolet Malibu.